Hey there, Sagittarius. Welcome to your reading for, this is your bonus reading for January 2025. You have this time for an app card and not for you card, so it could be time to take a break or to, take a nap, right? I think that could be a good thing for you, Sag, of course, or, whatever, just time for a break, more or less. And we'll see what comes up. You start here with the Page of Wands, and we are doing a Celtic cross, obviously, and a Page of Wands can represent kind of like going on an adventure, being more enthusiastic about life, and moving in kind of like new directions towards your enthusiasm, which, based off the rest of the reading, sorry, I just threw the last card, would probably be a good idea, especially if you are kind of thinking about some sort of heartbreak or something that didn't work out in your life, then it could be time for a new direction. And that's kind of like the whole point of the Page of Wands, is that he doesn't really know where he's going, but he is just kind of like moving in a new direction because he's excited about it. And, that's exactly what I would do. There's clearly something that is not for you. Three of Swords, Five of Swords, Five of Wands. You have the Eight of Cups as your crossing energy. And so the crossing energy in a Celtic cross can be what hurts you or helps you. And the whole point of the Eight of Cups is to walk away from something that no longer serves you. I feel like you're walking towards something much better. I mean, you have the Four of Wands, World, you have the Knight of Wands, in your outcome row. So I think that there's probably something better that you could be holding yourself back from, or you could be too focused on past pain with that Three of Swords, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But the whole point about the Eight of Cups is that he's walking away from this. Some people say that he's walking towards fulfillment, but we don't really know what he's walking towards, and he definitely doesn't know what he's walking towards. He just knows that he has to leave this behind because it really isn't fulfilling him, or it's missing something. There's like a cup that's missing right here. So he isn't really getting what he wants from a situation. It's coming up as you're crossing energy, so again, it could be a little bit of a challenge for you to walk away from something right now, or maybe you have been feeling challenged about walking away from something, or you could be challenged by the loss of something as well, like if you lost a job, which we've definitely talked about before, or if something didn't work out for you, like a relationship. The kind of like acceptance could be a little bit of a challenge, is what I feel with the Eight of Cups. You have the Three of Swords in the area of what's on your mind. And so Three of Swords can represent heartbreak or sadness. And, there could be some sort of heartbreaking situation that you went through that you are thinking about. And again, clearly this reading is trying to get you to set yourself free. You have the Four of Wands, and the Four of Wands is all about freedom. You go down from the Four of Wands to the world, and the world is all about getting out into the world. So it might be just a good time for healing. Again, you have that time for a nap card and the not for you card, so it might be a good time to like heal or process something that you've been through, which has definitely come up in several of your past readings, that you've been through something challenging. And the Three of Swords is all about forgiveness. So the solution to the Three of Swords is that we don't have to forgive a person, or, this might not have been a person. Like if it was a job or something else that hurt you, you don't have to forgive the situation directly. You just have to forgive the situation in your heart and move forward. The good news about the Three of Swords is it is temporary. It doesn't last forever. So, again, this is like a temporary situation. In the area of your foundation, you have the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is really about walking away with your head held high. This guy here, he is the winner. And, the story of the Five of Swords is that he has won at all cost, which is not necessarily a good thing. But at the same time, the Five of Swords can represent, yes, it can represent a separation or, like an ending to something. But he has learned how to walk away with his head held high. And I think that's probably what's important for you here, Sagittarius, is the fact that, if you have had to walk away from something, or if you're figuring out that something is not for you with that not for you card, that, walking away with pride or whatever you want to call it would be a very good idea for you at this time. Next, in the area of the past, this is good, but you have this card that says Wealth of Knowledge. It says connect to the knowledge in your soul to teach and help heal the world. A lot of healing. You also have this healing energy card. It says you are in the process of healing. Exactly what we said. Eliminate any bad energies from your life. Yes, anything that could be causing problems or anything that could be causing issues would be a good idea. I also would like start telling a new story. I think that making sure that you're using positive words or talking about what you want instead of what you don't want would be a really good idea for you, Sagittarius. And telling the story that you actually want to live could help with healing the situation that you've been through or whatever you have been going through. Telling a different story is kind of what this is saying, but also taking the time with the time for a nap card. Of course, taking time to heal would be a good idea. Also in your past, and again, the past position is what you are moving past, so this is a good thing. You're moving past conflict, competition, or challenges in your life with the Five of Wands. Personally, I really like the Five of Wands. Yes, these people are fighting on this card, but these people are also, they are learning how to fight. They're using sticks, they're not using swords. So really, the Five of Wands, even though it can represent a challenge, it's like we can learn a lot from challenges. And, that's the whole point of the Five of Wands. To get the best out of it, you have to look at the challenges you went through, and you have to see like what lessons you learned and what things you didn't pay attention to and what you should pay attention to. All that stuff is really good for the Five of Wands. Next, in the area of your very near future, you have this 4C card in this revisit card. I do think it would be a good time to like revisit the lessons. I, of course, don't think we should be living in the past, of course, but I also feel there's nothing wrong with like looking at the lessons you learned or the things that you went through and kind of just pulling out the lesson and saying like, okay, I'm not going to repeat this again. Or again, we can have lessons that teach us what to do. We can have a lesson where something doesn't work, but the failure actually teaches us how to make it work the next time. And so, kind of like revisiting those lessons and just saying to yourself, what did I learn from this would be a good idea. The 4C card is about seeing the future. So I feel that you have a much brighter future to look forward to here. Clearly, there are much better cards showing up. So I do feel things could be improving. Also in the very near future, you have the Four of Wands. Four of Wands can be marriage, but, again, I wouldn't really call this a love reading. If anything, it's a breakup reading, right? Like you've been through a breakup or you've been through a separation. So the Four of Wands, if you have been through a breakup, the Four of Wands can say, like, don't worry, there will be a new commitment coming in for you in the future. But really, the Four of Wands is about setting yourself free. With the Four of Wands, we have to complete something. We have to cross through this finish line right here, or we have to cross through this threshold in the middle of the card so that we can get to the other side and we can celebrate with these people on the other side. So the Four of Wands is really a card of celebration, or stepping into a celebration, and that's exactly what I think you need to do here with the Four of Wands is like, and you need to end something and commit to something new. And what you are ending could be like this past heartbreak. You could be moving past it. You could be healing from it. You could be forgiving it. And then the act of doing that is what is going to set you free with the Four of Wands. But again, I think this is something, the Three of Swords is almost, it's coming up in the area of your thoughts, but for me, intuitively, it's showing up as an action that you need to take, like the act of forgiveness, the act of moving on, the act of healing, something like that. And, I think if you do that, that's what will set you free with the Four of Wands. Next, in the area of your outcome row, you have this Bobcat Spirit says, life is mystery. Yes. You also have this Cat Spirit says, claim your independence. Yes, if you have been set free from a job or a relationship, it's like you should be claiming that independence and doing something with it with these two cards. They're both cats as well. How interesting is that? So I think you need to like embrace the mystery. We don't always know why something happened, and sometimes we'll never get an answer. And I kind of feel this is saying like just use this energy to move forward towards something new. Over the next few months, you have the World card, which is great. The World is a card of completion, first and foremost. So we have the Four of Wands, which kind of is saying to me in your reading that something needs to be complete, like you need to cross a threshold or cross a certain, finish line, whatever it is. The World would say that you are, because it is a card of completion. The World is also a card of an accomplishment. And so there could be a lot of accomplishments. Again, this claim your independence card could be saying that, instead of worrying about what you don't have, you could be claiming your independence and like making things happen and, accomplishing things with the World. So I definitely would do that with the World card. I think it would be great also for you to go on adventures again, to return to that, your Sagittarian nature. The World is all about adventure. Sagittarius is all about adventure. You have the Knight of Wands coming up here, which is all about adventure. So I think that would be great. Next, in the area of your closest relationships, you have the Hermit. This area of the reading is all relationships. So the Hermit could say that you are in hermit mode, or you have withdrawn from the people in your life, or from the connections in your life. And again, not just love. We're talking about everything. And with the Hermit, it's very tempting to stay in isolation. He's been through something very difficult, which definitely shows up at the beginning of your reading. And so sometimes we go through something difficult, we isolate ourselves, and I think we just think it's a cruel, mean world, and we just want to stay in isolation. But I feel with the Hermit, we have to shine our inner light. That is what we have to do with the Hermit. He has his inner light is trapped inside this lantern. And so I do feel it is maybe time for you to heal through socializing with the right people, right? People who support you, people who lift you up. And if you don't have those people, then I would find them because there are plenty of supportive people on this planet. You just have to, go out and make new connections, right? And so I would do that with the Hermit, because I feel the Hermit is encouraging you to come out of hermit mode so that you can enjoy life more. And that's what I would do with that card. Next, in the area of your future feelings, you have the Knight of Wands, which is, again, pretty good because, this card would kind of tell me that you are returning to yourself, your true Sagittarius nature. He's the Knight of Wands on the positive side of things. He's kind of happy-go-lucky. He's very adventurous, spontaneous. He's willing to take risks. We're not talking crazy risks here, but, if he comes up with an idea of a goal that he wants to accomplish, he'll just go and do it and see what happens. So he's more in that happy-go-lucky energy. And I think this is the energy that you are returning to, which, again, is obviously a good thing with the Knight of Wands. I also look at him as the true builder in the tarot. So if he doesn't have something that he needs, he builds it and he creates it. So if you don't have something that you need to, create success or to, build the life you desire or whatever, then I think it would be an amazing time for you to build whatever it is that you need for success. And that's exactly what I would do. With this Knight of Wands energy is, don't be afraid of, putting in the work to build whatever you need. Next, in your outcome, you have the Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles is pretty good, but Four of Pentacles, I feel good in some ways for you because it's a card of stability. And, at the beginning of the reading, we definitely have a lack of stability. So, I think the Four of Pentacles is kind of necessary for stability in this reading right here. And it's you are getting to a place of stability. But I also feel that it would be a good time for you to push yourself just a little bit more. And again, I'm not talking about burning yourself out or, grinding your face off or anything like that. I am very much against the whole grind culture, where everybody's oh, you just work until you're dead and, then you're successful. That's not life, right? But what I do think we should be doing is pushing just a little bit, right? It's we should be reaching our limit with whatever it is that we're doing and just taking those risks that kind of push us just a little bit outside of our comfort zone. And if we do that, that's how we grow, right? So I think the Four of Pentacles is encouraging you to grow. And this could be in any area of your life, Sagittarius. This could be love, business, work, whatever. But I think that there could be little tiny risks that you could take that would push you outside your comfort zone and probably cause growth. And that's what I would focus on with that card is growth for sure. But let's go through here and let's see. With the Page of Wands and the Eight of Cups, you have the King of Swords. King of Swords, I'm hearing the word history here, so, I think that the hard part of the reading is, having a history. Let me give you an example. If you have experienced the same thing over and over and over again, and you're just living the same story, it's you have developed a history of what happens, and this could be in love, maybe you have the same story, or in work, maybe the same thing keeps happening to you. And so I feel for, I never say this on the King of Swords, but I feel in your reading, he is kind of talking about, breaking the history or, breaking free from that story. He's a card of knowledge and wisdom. So on one hand, he could represent the history of what you've experienced. On the other hand, he could also be saying, but you've learned a lot of lessons, Five of Wands, so now you need to take that knowledge, the things you've learned, and you need to implement it into your life to grow. And, again, this is definitely a growth reading as well. With the Three of Swords, you have the Judgment card. Pretty good because, this could represent a light bulb moment. I love the Judgment card in the area of what's on your mind. Or, this part of the reading is your thoughts, right? And so the Judgment card can represent a sudden light bulb moment or a sudden revelation. And there's a giant light bulb here. So I would pay attention to any light bulb moments you're having in January. These moments could help you, kind of find freedom or break free from whatever you've been going through. Next, with the Five of Swords, you have the Star, another good card. Again, this kind of feels like a Tower moment that you probably had in the past. So whenever we don't have the Tower, but I'm just saying when we do have the Tower, the Star is definitely the card we want to get. The Star is probably the best card for healing in the tarot. It's a card of hope, faith, renewal, and there could be something that's giving you hope or is giving you faith and is making you believe that you can accomplish whatever you're trying to accomplish. So, again, I think that this is very good. With the Five of Wands, you have the Temperance card. Patience. I mean, this is your card, number one. So whenever you show up as yourself, it's good. It puts you in a position of power and strength. But I feel like you have been very patient. I think the frustration comes from, it's like you have tried different ways of approaching things, and maybe those things haven't always worked. The Temperance card, he's trying to mix two cups together, trying to turn water into wine. And I think for a lot of you, it's been like water and oil for a very long time. It's like the two things you've been trying to mix together haven't been working, whether it's you and a job, you and a person, you and a situation. It's like I said, oil and water, not mixing together in the past. With the Four of Wands, you have the Justice card. Yes, paying attention to what works. The Justice card is cause and effect. It's like maybe the reason you've been experiencing oil and water is because you haven't been paying attention to things that are happening, right? In a lot of ways, I feel really good about this as well because we have Judgment and Justice. So this here could represent you finally getting positive karma for what you've been through, or it can say that you are paying attention to implementing these lessons with the King of Swords and the Five of Wands, and that is bringing more balance into your life. But I also think that with Justice, like when we get an opportunity to enter into new situations in the future, that again, we really pay attention to give and take, meaning if you do something, do you get a result? I think if you look at these past things that didn't work, really, it's like you were kind of banging your head against the wall. And so I do feel, again, a sense of freedom, like I said, with that Justice card and the Four of Wands. With the World, yes, you have the Empress. Empress does not try to force things to happen. Again, the first part of the reading, really, the first three cards plus the past really give me the feelings of trying to force things to happen. The Empress, all she has to do is wave her scepter in front of her, and the wheat in front of her will grow. So the Empress, she doesn't really try hard to get things to work. She just does what works. And, maybe there's just more of a better focus for you on doing what works instead of trying to force things to work, which is great, Sagittarius. I think this will probably set you free. With the Hermit, you have the Ace of Pentacles. Probably a lot of opportunity to socialize. The Ace of Pentacles, I look at, it's a good card, but I look at it as nothing because the Ace of Pentacles is usually an opportunity that just has potential, but potential means nothing. Potential is what we put into the opportunity. So there could be a lot of opportunities for you to socialize, and I would take advantage of those opportunities because, I think the Hermit is really encouraging you to get out there and to socialize and spend time with people that really matter. With the Knight of Wands, you have the Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands is quick success or like a quick conclusion, which is also good. The Four of Wands I look at as a finish line card. Again, you have to cross that finish line or through that threshold to get set free or to get to celebrate whatever it is. And the Eight of Wands is kind of like a card of completing something as well, or can represent quick success or a quick conclusion. And it also, the Eight of Wands is all about like having a nice flow. So with the Knight of Wands, I think you are getting into this nicer flow of energy, and that is a good thing. With the Four of Pentacles, you have the Moon. The Moon is kind of like fears, fantasies, illusions, not seeing things clearly. I think this is about seeing something through to the end, like getting to the finish line, which I think it was Leo who had a very similar reading to you, which makes sense. Sometimes the elements have very similar readings. I wouldn't say the reading was similar, but they had something about reaching a finish line. And your reading is a little bit different in the sense that I think that there's something you've always wanted, and the Moon is saying, you need to like pick that path and stick with it. I always say the Moon does not say stop. The Moon says no matter what, you need to reach the end. There's that path that normally goes down the Moon, and the path terminates at the end of some mountains that are in the background. Mountains can represent obstacles, but they also represent an achievement. Where do you get the best views? At the top of a mountain. So I think that for some of you, this is about seeing whatever you're trying to accomplish, or this could even have to do with your purpose. The star can be your North Star. The star can say you have a big like goal, wish, or dream that you want to accomplish, and I think that Moon card is saying you need to do it no matter what. You have this June card. I always clarify these monthly cards. You have this door card. It says opportunities are waiting for you. Ace of Pentacles. That you could be finding major opportunities through other people. So, again, I think we need to socialize because that's where we get good opportunities sometimes, and that's what I would do here. You have this grasshopper. It says situation in the balance that requires careful handling. This could be whatever you're trying to accomplish. Like on one hand, I feel this is saying don't give up on the big picture. And here's what I mean by that. Like if you were hurt by a person with a Three of Swords, this reading is saying like don't give up on the idea of love if that's what you truly want. It's like, yes, maybe you have to give up on that person, that specific person, but you don't have to give up on the idea. Same thing with work or business. Maybe you lost a job that you really liked. It's like saying you don't have to give up on the idea of working in that job, but maybe you do have to give up on working on that job in that place that you got fired from or that you got let go of. So I feel in some ways it is saying don't give up on the dream. You have this ant card says work, achievement, success. Yes, much more success. I wish I had a good way to motivate you, Sagittarius, because I've been here in this place where it's like that you have to get moving, but getting feeling like you actually can get moving is the challenge. And so I don't have any good advice other than to get moving, right? To get out of your head with that Three of Swords. I do kind of feel the Judgment card could be a little bit motivating for you, if you're getting a good idea about how to progress or about how to move forward. So I do feel there is a little motivation here. You have this Cane card that says pay attention to your health. Yes, Mars retrograde. I think everyone needs to pay attention to their health at this time and just stay healthy. You have this dagger. It says fears, worries, tense situation. Again, I think that a little bit doing things to get out of your head would be a good idea. So anything you can do to do that would be good. But this is an interesting reading, Sagittarius. So thank you for being here and definitely enjoy your month.